Hello, Opophiles, and welcome to another Technique Tuesday in which we talk about technique on a Tuesday. Today, we're talking about scales and 3 ways that we can improve your scales and some revealing things that may indicate that you don't know your scales as well as you think you do. Alright, let's talk about scales. The first thing that really gets me about scales is a lot of people only practice them with one pattern. Now, if you grew up in Texas, that pattern might sound like this. I got some water. And sometimes that's the only way that people know how to play their scales, and they get tripped up if they see their scales in any other format, which is not particularly useful. So, yes, you need to have a go-to pattern to play your scales, but we need to break that mold. So the first thing that you can do to instantly improve your scales is to change the pattern up, change the rhythm up. It can be something as simple as just playing them all 8th notes or playing them in different rhythms. So first, let's try all 8th notes, and that would sound like this. Now keep in mind that I did it all slurred. You can change the articulations and change the rhythms. If you need some help and ideas on how to work on that aspect of technique, that's actually another Technique Tuesday video, and I'll link to that up here in the corner or in the description below. With this in mind, you need to pick kind of the peak of the phrase in your scale. We want to approach all things musically, and of course, when in doubt, play beautifully. So I like to think of the kind of peak of the phrase, the end of the crescendo, as maybe the 6th scale degree on the way down. And I almost never like to think about it as the top note of the scale, the tonic at the top as the peak of the phrase. So keep that in mind when you're practicing them. You might try a different rhythm, like 8th notes, 2/16. And then you might try tonguing that in different ways. The possibilities are endless. Technique number 2 is to not limit yourself by the range of tonic to tonic in these scale formats. You want to practice your scales from the lowest possible note in that key to the highest possible note in that key. Now, lately, I've been practicing up to like high A flat or high A, depending on the scale. I think a more reasonable expectation would be to practice to high F. And then if you're feeling like that's still too high, like maybe you're just starting out, to high C is just fine. So if I'm doing a D major scale, I'm going to start on the B natural below. And I go all the way to the high F sharp, because that's the highest note that I can play in my comfortable range in that key. If I was doing a C major scale, I might go from low B natural to high F above the staff. Alright, now for tip number 3, and the thing that might reveal that you don't know your scales as well as you think you do, is to play a familiar tune in every key. I'm going to try it with London Bridge. I'm going to try it with London Bridge, but you can try it with any tune. If you need to learn some tunes real fast, I got those on the channel as well. I'll link to those in the description. Marehead Little Lamb is a great one, and if you're not great at this, Hot Cross Buns is also a great one. So just play it in every key. I'll start in B flat and then move up chromatically. Then B major. Then C major. through all 12 scales like this, you'll be able to figure out when you need to use alternate fingerings, whenever you need to voice things differently, and you'll be more prepared in singing ahead in the music in your mind. It's really easy to get stuck in a rut practicing your scales and think that you know how scales work. But if you can't do quick transpositions of simple tunes, then that's not very useful in actual music. Then the final trick is going to be doing transpositions of actual etudes. And whenever you're done with the tunes, going to etudes and transposing them is going to give you mastery over your scales. Alright guys, I hope that you got a lot out of this video and get some great technique, especially on a Tuesday. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button below. And as always, when in doubt, play beautifully.